Hey, what's up? Simply Recipes crew. How are you guys today? It is Tuesday here. We are cooking live a little bit earlier than normal. It's about 11 o'clock here in Denver. And we're making an awesome recipe today. It is a gnocchi corn skillet. So as always, I'm gonna pull up my computer here. As people join, please leave me a comment, say where you're watching from, say what you're cooking these days. It is a perfect time to be a home cook. There's lots of fresh seasonal stuff at markets, in stores. It's like prime time, cooking time. So this time of year, I love to cook with fresh corn. It's so cheap. It's like 20 cents an ear or whatever. And you can get some really delicious corn and use it in delicious recipes. So we're using it today in this like quick little skillet we'll make, and I think you're really gonna like it. So let me first, what I like to do here is just post the recipe in the comments. There we go. That way, if you wanna check out the written recipe later, bookmark it, you can easily find it there. And but we're gonna cook it here live. So I have my little skillet here, and what we're gonna do to start, if I can figure out how to heat this skillet up. And again, if you have any questions or comments as we do this, please leave a comment. I have my little computer open here so I can see what goes on. And the first thing we're gonna do is get our corn in our skillet. Oh, this is beautiful corn. Look at this corn. Man, this stuff is gorge. Nothing like fresh August corn. Some people don't know this, but Colorado is actually known, that's where I live, Denver, is known for making really, really delicious corn like this. And so what I like to do, I'm just gonna rinse off this ear real fast. Just to try to get some of those little strands off. And then I'm gonna add this to a skillet with just a little bit of olive oil. So let's see here. I have some olive oil, and I'm just gonna add a little drizzle of olive oil. And then I'm gonna cut my corn off right into the skillet. This is a little pro tip here. So you get your knife, you stand it up in the skillet like this, and you should be able to, if you have a sharp knife, just kind of slice it off. Boom. Go all around. Careful not to cut into your skillet too hard there. You can make this recipe in any kind of skillet. This is like a large skillet. You could use a cast iron skillet if you want, whatever. But the idea is just to get all the kernels off the cob here. Save these cobs for stock. They're really delicious if you use them in stock. And we're gonna do one more. The recipe says to do 3, but this corn I got these are massive. So I'm just gonna do 2 right now. Because man, these are huge. All right, hold on, let me rinse this guy. And just cooking, the kernels in the skillet for a few minutes, it really brings out the sweetness of the corn and makes for a really delicious thing. If you try to do this on a cutting board, these kernels will go everywhere and you'll have a massive mess on your hands. Hopefully people like corn. I don't love like the frozen corn. It's fine, but this time of year I really love fresh corn. It's hard to beat, man. Throw it on the grill, cook something delicious. I use it in all kinds of stuff, and it's like, 20 cents a ear or whatever. Where'd my spatula go? Oh, it's right in front of me. So I just kind of want to mix this up. This is gonna cook really quick. This is a fast skillet recipe. So while that starts to sear off there, I want to talk about the gnocchi. Now, you can make gnocchi from scratch. I've done it a bunch of times. It's not particularly hard, but this is not a recipe that I would make it from scratch. If I'm gonna take the time to make gnocchi from scratch, I'm just gonna eat it just basically plain with like a butter sauce or something like that. For me, for a recipe like this, I just buy about a pound of this gnocchi that you can get at any grocery store. A bunch of different companies make it. And you just have to boil it like pasta. The key is you don't want to overcook it or it will turn very mushy. So I have some boiling water back here. I'm gonna add this to the boiling water and cook it for about 4-ish minutes, okay? Perfect. So, all my gnocchi went in. You will see that all in a minute when it's done. And my corn is already smelling really good. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, as this cooks, I'm just gonna season this with a little pinch of salt. And we're gonna add some onion to this. This is like a small, sweet onion. I'm just gonna dice it up. I haven't made this recipe in a while. I'm like reading my own recipe. What did I say? Oh yeah, small. So I'm gonna do the whole onion and just dice it up and add this to the corn as it cooks. And you just want everything to kind of cook together. And you can do this while your gnocchi cooks, right? So I'm doing it at the same time. And it makes this recipe super fast. This is like, if there ever was a weeknight recipe, this is it, man. Super quick. So I'm just giving kind of a fine dice on my onions, and I'm gonna add these in as my corn cooks. Oh yeah. Beautiful. I have another little chunk of onion here I'm gonna do. This is a really fun recipe. My kids really love this recipe, actually. You know, I don't know. It's very kid friendly. Kids love corn. The little gnocchi are fun. They're like little potato dumplings. There's no like weird, you know, it's not spicy, although you could make this spicy. It's just like a delicious little late summer skillet recipe that my family absolutely loves. So, all right, so there's all our onion in the skillet, and there's nothing I like about this recipe is there's like not that many ingredients. Somebody has a question. Who has a question? Hold on. See if I can see it. Gotta figure out. There we go. 2 comments. Yeah. Kristen says, "What's the name of the tool you're using in the skillet?" Oh, this thing. This is cool. It's by this company called Early Wood, and they make like wooden kitchen tools. It's a spatula basically, but it has a really thin end, and it's very sturdy. And so I really like it for, I use it for all kinds of stuff, but I particularly like it when I'm stirring like a skillet like this. Now I want to show you, you can see my skillet, my corn is getting a little bit of color onto it, like it's getting a little caramelized, and that is wonderful. That's exactly what I want, because it's just going to bring out some of that sweetness of the corn. Oh, delish. One more thing I'm going to add to this. Let me get rid of my onion bits here. Garlic. I got just a few. I'm going to do like 2 cloves of garlic. You can do more. You can do 3 or 4 if you're a garlic fanatic. But 2 will be a good just garlic flavor here. Kind of give these a smash and a rough dice. You could also grate these or use a garlic press if you wanted to. But, you know, this is kind of supposed to be like a rustic Italian skillet meal. So we're not gonna get too fancy here. And I also hate dirtying another kitchen tool just for a few cloves of garlic. So I'm just gonna dice them up. There we go. 2 cloves of garlic. Beautiful. Okay. Give this a stir. Turn my heat up a little bit. So this is all cooking, simmering nicely. If anybody has any questions about, you know, cooking with corn, making skillets like this, I love making little skillets like this with like some kind of pasta, a simple sauce, a really fresh seasonal veggie. This is like something we do a lot here at House Machismo, and makes for easy meals and delicious meals. So this is literally what we will be having for dinner tonight. So yeah, it's wonderful. Kids are gonna love it. So let's look at our gnocchi, see how we're doing. All right, check this out. So gnocchi are done when they're floating. When you put them in to start, they're gonna all be at the bottom of the pot. And as you cook them, they'll start to float, basically. And that's when you know you're done. Is there a bit of oil or butter for it to simmer? And Carrie says, yes, I did a little bit of olive oil. You could also use butter if you want. Yeah, you do need some kind of fat for sure. But, you know, we're gonna add some other stuff for the sauce in a minute. But you do want some kind of fat for it. I just used olive oil, but butter would work great too. All right, so then what we're going to do, this is gonna be fun. So our gnocchi's almost done here, but before I drain it, what I wanna do is actually save some of this water. So I'm gonna get a I got a little measuring cup here, and you know, you don't have to measure the amount, but just drain off a little bit of that water. Now look at that water. It is like murky, right? It has all that potato starch in there, some salt. It's starchy and salty and wonderful. And we're gonna use this as a base for our sauce that we're gonna make. So now that I'm gonna drain the rest of my gnocchi in a colander and just bring them over here. So give me 1 second. So I have my gnocchi drained, check that out. Now we're gonna finish this bad boy off. Are you ready? So to make this sauce, so what I like to do is, you can kind of do this in any order, but what I'm gonna do is add about half a cup of this reserved water. And that's just gonna start to bring the flavors out, and it'll also cool down your skillet a little bit. Then I like to add some heavy cream. This is, I guess this is optional. I listed it as optional in the recipe. You don't have to do this, but it does make a really delicious sauce if you have some cream available. And I'm just gonna eyeball it, but about half a cup is good. Yeah, that's about half. So this is gonna simmer together and actually thicken nicely. It looks kind of on the thin side right now, if you can see. But now what we're gonna do is we're adding our gnocchi straight in. And that is going to really thicken up this sauce because those gnocchi are covered in starch. They're delicious. They're like little pillows of potato, and they are going to thicken up our corn mixture beautifully. So this is our, and this will just, you'll want to like simmer this for a minute or two basically. And while it simmers, we can get together our add-ins that I like to add in right at the end of cooking. What I like to add in number one, some of these little tiny mozzarella balls. So these are so fun And a really great addition in a skillet like this, you can see how tiny they are. They're like really, really tiny. They're called mozzarella pearls. Delicious. And what you don't want, if you add them too soon, they'll completely melt and just break down. You actually want them to be kind of maintain their pearl structure. So you don't want to add them over when the skillet is on like super high heat or they'll just melt. So we're gonna let this cook for a minute or two to thicken. And we're also gonna, let me just taste this. I wanna see if it needs any seasoning. Just get some of the corn in. Oh, that's yummy. It does need a pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper maybe. Do some fresh pepper in there. Good. And one more little pinch of salt. And you can see my skillet is starting to really bubble and it's really starting to thicken. That sauce is getting really wonderful. It can like coat my spatula a little bit there, which is what I'm looking for. So I think this is done. I'm gonna turn off my heat now. It's done, it's cooked. Everything is cooked, we're good. And then what I like to do, you can do this a few different ways. You could just add all these mozzarella balls in and stir it all together if you want, or you can kind of make individual bowls. I'm gonna show you how to make kind of an individual serving of this. Which is kind of, you know, it looks a little prettier, I guess, I think. It's kind of fun. So, what I like to do is just chop up some fresh basil. And I'm gonna get a spoon. How fast was this recipe? This was like a 15, we did everything. We literally did everything. I had nothing pre-made for this recipe. Sometimes when I do these cooking lives, I'll have like a version that's halfway done. This recipe, I did it all right here. It's 15 minutes. So I'm gonna spoon some of this into a bowl. Oh yeah, look at that. Then I'm gonna add some of my little mozzarella pearls here. You just kind of get a handful of them. You don't need too many. Just nice to have a few. See, like that. Kind of stir those in gently. Because again, you don't want them to melt completely. You just want them... And you could have stirred those into the whole skillet right at the end too. That would have been fine. Maybe a little more sauce on top. And then some fresh basil. There we go. And a fork. Ta-da! This is my easy sweet corn gnocchi skillet. The recipe's on simplyrecipes.com. It's great. This is the time of year to try this recipe. So wonderful. Let me see if I can get you an up-close bite here. Get like a gnocchi in there, some of the corn. Ooh! Fantastic. Man. This is wonderful. It's actually like much lighter of a dish than you would think. The corn really like brightens everything. I would not make this with frozen corn. You can, but this is the time of the year. Get some fresh corn. It is so delicious. One of my favorite kind of late summer recipes right here. Delicious. So, I hope you all like this video. This is one of my favorite recipes. It's so delicious. I'm gonna have it for lunch and dinner, actually. I just decided that. Yeah. So try it out. The recipe link is in the comments. I posted there, so you can bop on over to Simply Recipes and check it out. Again, my name is Nick, and I write machismo.com, and I write for Simply Recipes also. And thanks for watching. I hope you guys all have a great, safe week wherever you are. And I'll be back next week with another Cooking Live about this time on Tuesday. So thank you all for watching, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.